Let me propose a hypothetical. You're a Pokemon trainer, equipped with one Pokemon. Your Pokemon needs to defeat 170 other Pokemon by itself. It already sounds like a pretty daunting task, doesn't it? Let's say your Pokemon is Smeargle. Here are Smeargle's base stats. I don't need to be an expert to tell you that they're not very good. Do you seriously think that your Smeargle could possibly defeat 170 other Pokemon without losing once? Let me show you what the 170 look like. It doesn't look very possible, does it? Well, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, we like to take what is seemingly impossible in these Pokemon games and waste hundreds of hours doing these impossible things. Today, we're going to get the gold print in the battle hall with only a Smeargle. Shout out to AT Sync from the Smeargle forums, who actually did this first in 2018. I thought it was such a cool challenge that I'd attempt it myself and present it in video form. Now, the battle hall allows Pokemon from level 30 to 100 to enter its facility and partake in its challenge. Any Pokemon under level 30 is banned from participating. There's probably a reason for that, right? You'll see why. The reason that Smeargle is chosen out of the 493 Pokemon available in the 4th generation is actually quite simple. Clearly, Smeargle is not ideal stats-wise. In fact, it has the same base stat total as a Bidoof. Smeargle's power, however, comes from elsewhere. Its power comes from its ability to learn every single move in the game via Sketch. And also its speed is quite decent, to be fair. Combine these, and we can create a Smeargle specifically built for surviving and destroying the Pokemon of the hall. First things first, Smeargle's going to be bringing a Focus Sash with it. You'll see why soon. Secondly, there are some essential moves that Smeargle is going to need to know if it's going to survive 170 battles. The first one might be the most broken move in the game. It is Spore. Unlike its other sleep-inducing counterparts, which boast a measly 50% accuracy, Spore is 100% accurate. Spore is a serious problem for our opponents. Having a consistent source of generating free turns is worth its weight in gold. But Pokemon in the hall don't like to sleep for long. In fact, they wake up after a single turn extremely often. So we're going to need to get Spore a couple of friends if we're really going to be successful. Meet Substitute, another annoying move. Smeargle is going to spend most of its time hiding behind a substitute, ensuring that its awful base stats aren't its own downfall. But even that might not be enough. The third move is actually a very difficult choice. In fact, the originator of this challenge, AT Sync, went 4 different ways with it. Initially, they had prepared a set with Leech Seed. You can probably see why this is effective. With Leech Seed, Substitute, and Spore, Smeargle will constantly regenerate its health and be able to create more and more substitutes to tank hits while slowly whittling away its opponent's health. However, as the hall gets progressively more difficult, higher level Pokemon begin to surface, and although Smeargle has decent base speed, it really can't compete with the best of the best. In the instances that Smeargle did get outsped, AT Sync prepared Smeargles with Counter, Mirror Coat, and Metal Burst over Leech Seed in order to deal back the damage that Smeargle would be hit with. Here is where the Focus Sash comes in handy. Depending on the type of Pokemon, AT Sync would have prepared the correct Smeargle in order to maximize which out of Counter, Mirror Coat, or Metal Burst would be most useful. Counter and Mirror Coat discriminate based on the style of attack, whether it's physical or special. Metal Burst, however, does not. The trade-off here is that Metal Burst only deals 150% of the damage, whilst Counter and Mirror Coat deliver a clean 200%. Now that the third move is finally out of the way, it's time to finally teach Smeargle its final move. This move is the entire reason why the Battle Hall's minimum level is level 30. The move is obviously Dragon Rage. Dealing a fixed 40 damage every time it lands, it is very easy to see why Dragon Rage is so powerful at this level. Not only does Dragon Rage 2-hit KO majority of the Pokemon in the hall, its damage also isn't reliant on Smeargle's awful base stats. So now with all the setup out of the way, it's time to begin the challenge. AT Sync went with 4 Smeargles. I, however, decided to go without the Smeargle that knows Metal Burst, for the reason that I couldn't really be bothered catching an Aaron in the Johto Safari Zone. The way I taught my Smeargle moves was to have a Pokemon that knew the move, and only the move, fight against the Ditto transforms into that Pokemon, and then Smeargle switches in, so it was a fairly tedious process. For the first 10 battles, we take on the Ice types. Now, I can see why these are recommended to get out of the way immediately, because not only are they bulky, they also have a slight chance of just freezing you and winning the battle. In fact, my first attempt got ended by a Celio, which turned a 1-turn sleep into a freeze. However, we go again, and as long as we don't get frozen, Smeargle handles the Ice types quite well. Next up are the Dark types. Now, Spore and Substitute might be the most abusive combination in the game, especially with the way Smeargle is destroying these Pokemon. After dark, we eliminate the flying types, barring a slight scare from a Pidgeot in Battle 30, where it would have ended our streak had it landed a critical hit with Air Slash. We progress. The normal types don't even put up a fight against our creative dog. The first 40 battles are done with the Smeargle that knows Counter. The next 10 are done with the one that knows Leech Seed. There's a reason for that. That reason's name is Shedinja. With only 1 health, Shedinja falls to Leech Seed in a turn. And so do the other 8 ghost types. With our streak at 49, we get a visit from the Hall Matron. She attempts to beat us with an old friend, Unknown. I actually want to attempt this challenge with Unknown, but I doubt that it'd get any further than Magikarp did. And if you didn't see that video, link in the description. We defeat Argenta and celebrate a 50 streak. Battle 58 is a close call with a Houndoom that outspeeds us. Thankfully, it's asleep for more than 1 turn and we escape with a close win. Fighting and Electric are relatively tame, but I definitely noticed that the battles are starting to get more difficult. Battles 81 to 90 are the Psychic types. I decided to use Smeargle with Mirror Coat for obvious reasons. This Wobbuffet at Battle 88 tries to hit us with a dose of our own medicine. We escape. Now, I'm not the best at using Mirror Coat. In fact, I'd like to say that I'm terrible at it. Take Battle 90 against this Alakazam, for example. Despite the fact that I know that Alakazam outspeeds us, I still opt to use Spore instead. Thankfully for the Focus Sash and the 2 turns sleep, we narrowly escape Alakazam and increase the streak to 90. Battles 91 to 114 are pretty safe. We take out the Poison types and the first 5 of the Bug and Water types. However, Battle 115 pits us against a Speed Boost Ninjask, which, as you can probably guess, outspeeds us. Luckily, I am able to put it to sleep and barely set up a substitute despite eating an X-Scissor. But then things get interesting. Ninjask decides to use Dig. Had I been risky and used Dragon Rage after Spore, this battle would have been over. I would not have been able to finish Ninjask off as it would have been underground, and whilst it would have gotten a free hit on a Smeargle without a substitute. Our next close call comes at Battle 140 against a Mamoswine with leftovers. This battle was only difficult because Mamoswine decided that he'd only sleep for 1 turn every time. Thankfully, it decides to sleep for a little longer, and I'm able to finish it off with Dragon Rage. The next 10 battles are Dragon types. I would like to make my application for being the luckiest person in the world. Let's start with Battle 149 against the Lumberry Dragonite. I am the genius that forgot that this Dragonite had a Lumberry. Ideally, the play here is to counter Dragonite's Outrage, which would have ended the battle in 1 turn. My choice, however, was to use Spore, which put me in a very difficult situation. I was too weak to use a substitute and had to rely on a sleep that lasted at least 2 turns, which at this point was pretty rare. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. I was, still am, and forever will be eternally grateful. But it gets even worse. Battle 150, we come up against a Flygon that outspeeds our Smeargle. Now, I actually didn't know that it was faster and probably just should have assumed. Counter wouldn't have saved me here though, because Dragon Pulse is special unlike Outrage. Again, left in a situation where I'm too weak for a substitute, Smeargle uses Spore on Flygon that puts it to sleep for 3 turns. Any less and our streak of 149 battles comes to an end. At this point, it's an absolute miracle. And if that isn't convincing enough that I'm the luckiest person alive, look what I found whilst making this video. I mean, yeah, it's only a Reddit, it's a bit like, you probably still hate me anyways. Other than this annoying battle with a Lumberry Fortress, you guessed it, I forgot about the Lumberry, we set up a battle with Argenta again. This time, it's for the gold print. The streak is 169. 1 bad Pokemon, 1 bad move, another 1 turn sleep, and it could all be over. Argenta sends out Rapidash. Leech Seed Smeargle is out to deal with the Steel types that preceded Rapidash, mainly because I suck at using Counter and Mirror Move effectively, as you can probably tell. I also didn't want to run the risk of being stuck with Counter or Mirror Move in a situation where the other move would have been effective. However, if I had the Metal Burst Smeargle, obviously that was probably most ideal. But anyways, luckily for us, our Smeargle outspeeds Rapidash, and we're able to stop Spore, Substitute, and Leech Seed perfectly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win 170 consecutive battles in the Battle Hall with a Smeargle. But do you know what is better than 170 consecutive wins? That's right, 171. Battle 171 puts us against an Altaria, which we outspeed and defeat quite comfortably. And then we run into a Poliwrath, which I think has a Quick Claw because it outspeeds Smeargle and knocks us out with Vacuum Wave before we're even able to get a Spore or a Substitute off. The streak ends at 171, but it doesn't really matter. Again, a huge shout out to ATSync on the Smeargle forums. Go read his post, I'll link in the description because I basically used it like a guide. It's that in depth. And Smeargle, I hope we're cool because I know I kind of called you dweebs in the last video, but like no one watched it. So if you guys enjoyed, feel free to leave a like. I'll see you guys next time. But before I go, there are a couple videos on the screen that you may enjoy. Click them if you want to. I'll be here next time, I guess.